goals. That was my deal. And in setting that goal, there were so many fruits that came along with it. And one of those fruits was me learning how to flip and fight and things like that. And I ended up finding self-esteem in just doing the work, getting there. You know what I mean?
You're thriving. You're thriving.
Yeah.
It's so important to say that. It's so wonderful because I've been reading the feeds as well, and everyone's saying that they do journaling as well. That's such a great idea that you brought up, because journaling, we often kind of dismiss it thinking, oh, what are we going to write in a journal? But it's your safe place. You can write anything and everything, or as little as you want. It could be one line, but just that release, you know, of just journaling. And I think, as you said, I think that's the beauty of sites like Pinterest and all that, where you're creating your vision board. Never underestimate the power of vision board, or even writing down. There's something, I know now we have tablets and all these fancy schmancy gadgets, but I feel like just going down to basics with pen and paper and just writing down.
Yeah.
There's this, and it's scientifically proven that you process better, you process more, you feel more sense of achievement of actually reading a physical book, you know. And look, I mean, I appreciate the benefits of these tablets. Where you travel, you can't bring 10 books, so I get it. But I love the smell of pages and you know, of a book, and writing things down. I feel like you're really doing something. Denai's here, my sister from Fear the Walking Dead. I love you.
Hello, sister.
Another inspiring human being. Denai, love you so much. So I just think that it's, you know, journaling, what you said, and writing things down. That's why we're doing the Happiness Project, is because I finally feel like there's a focus, a guidebook to help me focus on implementing my goals. And goals, guys, they don't have to be ginormous or anything. There's no judgment about how big your goals have to be. They can be simple little things. I've been reading on the feed, the LG Wright family over here, they've been painting. I know during the pandemic, a lot of us are trying to find ways to create sanctuary at home, you know, on a budget, and just being creative with either painting or shifting things around, you know, in the room, or putting a plant, or, you know, something that'll bring joy to this space, so that we can be happy whilst we're quarantining or whatnot, you know.
Right.
And then I'm seeing people talking about, in this chapter, you know, she talks about relationships, and I love how you talk about your relationship with your family and nurturing that, and giving even like 10 minutes of your time or 15 minutes or whatever it is with your brothers and sisters, you know, and engaging with them. That's so important, because we get so busy with life, you know, that we often forget about those moments to just stop and really enjoy each other's company whilst we can. So, you know, that's so important, you know. And she was talking in particular, you know, with her spouse, just about different things about not dumping on our partners or dumping on our friends, you know, trying to separate what are minor issues or petty issues that we can deal with, rather than putting it on to our partners, you know, because each of us, you know, in our friendships, with our spouse or our spouses or partners or friends, you know, each of us have a different dynamic within each of those relationships. So I know, I love my husband, but I know that if I need to have a conversation, girls, we like to talk things out, you know. And look, guys do too, you know, but some guys, like my hubby, sometimes, you know, you just want to talk things out so much about, you know. And I feel like I get that support from my sister or my mum. I can talk for hours with my mum or my sister or my girlfriends about these things, and I get the support that I need from them, and I get the support that I need from Carl on other situations. So it's trying to, you know, pick the people in your life who are good at certain things, but not to put that pressure on on everyone, you know what I mean? Because it's not, because everyone excels in different ways. So it really does change the dynamic of your relationships when you take that pressure off, when she says, when you take that expectation away, that when you do things for yourself. You don't do things because, look, it's human nature. We all want praise and acknowledgement. You know, of course we want appreciation, but that shouldn't be the first reason why we do things. She says we should do things because we want to do it for ourselves. And I think the minute when we focus on that, as opposed to saying, well, I'm doing this because I'm hoping that so and so will say, oh my God, you're amazing and this is great. That's not what you do for that gratification. You do it for yourself. And you feel better about it, you know, when you take that pressure off of expectation from others, you know, when you just focus on doing for yourself. I love that so much. So she called that about, you know, in relationships with, again, relationships, friendships. I'm broadening this out so we can all apply this to all our relationships in our life, but not being a nag. That's the hardest thing, isn't it? Because I find I'm sure each and every one of us at some point feel like we can be a bit of a nag. Maybe not you, Quincy. I can't see you being a nag. I can't see it. I totally see Emma Tid being a nag a little bit to either Alaric or Dorian. And maybe, you know, I'm a bit of a nag sometimes too, but it's that whole thing about, yeah, what if you took a week to be, she says in the book, of being extra nice and being really conscientious about what we say to each other, what we say to others. And she said, you'll find that it does take a bit of work and you might have to bite your tongue a little bit. But watching the creative effect it has on the people who are in your lives. And let's face it, a lot of us have been quarantining with our family 24/7. This, certainly last year, was the first year and the most time I have ever spent with Carl.
Yeah.
And whilst I love my husband,
Yeah.
24/7. I'm surprised we're not divorced by now, you know, so this is a good thing, you know, we laugh about it, we joke about it, you know, because to be with someone 24/7, it's, you know, it's not easy. It's healthy to have, you have your lives, you have your separation, you know, and you come together and all that, but to be together 24/7, it's tough. It's not easy, you know, you're in each other's space a lot, which is why, you know, paying attention to those little things like the nagging or changing the way you react to something that your family member or your friend might do or your spouse might do, just changing your reaction to it, saying, okay, there's two ways I can react to this. I can be really upset about this, or I can say, okay, obviously this upsets me a bit, but how can I change a situation where I feel good? And just even thinking about looking at a situation from that perspective, already you start to feel better.
Yeah.
I often didn't understand the meaning of forgiveness. That was a big thing for me. Forgiveness with oneself, but forgiveness of others too. And I grew up, my mom, you know, we raised as Catholic and whatnot. And one thing when we were going to school and going to church was, a big thing was about forgiveness, forgiving your enemies, forgiving others. And I didn't understand it. I'd be like, no, they did something wrong. That's not cool. And I'm not going to, no. But what I then understood as I started growing up and getting older, and I'm still growing up now every year, is that forgiveness has everything to do with yourself. And that's what they were trying to say, that forgiveness is all about setting yourself free and not holding on to that energy, to that negative energy, or that you know, that weight of an energy that holds you back from then thriving, you know, thriving. Last year, during the pandemic, still now, certainly in Texas, only a week ago, this time last week, we were on survival mode because of this winter storm that we weren't expecting. And this past pandemic year, we've been so focused on trying to survive, which is human nature. but it's so important now that within trying to survive that we find ways, as Mo Collins said last week, who I had on, about trying